Captain Kerry of Below Deck is known for operating a tight ship, and after a string of on-the-job mishaps, Bosun Caio Poltronieri faces the possibility of being the next yachty to leave St. David. In Season 12, Episode 3, Captain Kerry chose to have a direct conversation with the new deck crew commander when he became unable to ignore his preventable mistakes during a busy 5-day Caribbean charter. "I put a lot of strain on myself, but I strive to help my guys. I need to be honest with him and let him know how much I depend on him and how vital his job is." In a confessional, Captain Kerry clarified that this generates pressure. On topics he should already know, however, a lot of schoolboy mistakes are being made. He must focus on the task at hand. He then radioed Caio to approach the wheelhouse, where he explained the problems, including the inflatable banana boat he had just found floating away and the visitors' bags not making it on the first charter. Kerry also just had a one-on-one conversation with his bosun about providing accurate information after the captain appeared to be a clown to the visitors due to a misunderstanding regarding a snorkeling location. It shouldn't occur. During their sit-down, Captain Kerry informed Caio that they needed to have excellent communication. "Considering everyone's job is not my responsibility. However, the pile keeps growing, and I want to know whether you're game." "I'm quite sure I'm up for it." Caio, who oversees deckhands. Jess Theron, Kyle Stilley, and Damo Jorg responded, noting that it had been difficult and a lot to handle to have 3 people under him for the first time in his career. However, he believed that focusing on the little things and increasing his performance will happen in due time. In a confessional, the St. David captain said, "I think Caio is over his head," after Kerry told him to pressure his players to avoid making these juvenile mistakes. He's gone if he doesn't live up to expectations. A self-described famished Jess confronted Caio earlier in the June 16th episode of Below Deck on his poor management, specifically his failure to remind the workers to take lunch breaks. "Sometimes you need to give us a break." The lead deckhand let out a heavy sigh after venting in a confessional. "You need to think about those things." The deck team's break problem is that you don't know when you're going to get one, how long it's going to be, or how much warning you're going to have, Damo later added. "We really must eat, at the very least." Jess acknowledged that Caio is constantly working, but there is a certain standard that we aren't really setting, after he told her that Stilley is also becoming frustrated. "She can't go to Caio whenever she needs to eat," Jess reiterated, adding, "I will definitely speak to him. But I'll have to talk to Captain Kerry if nothing changes." Caio described his participation on St. David in another episode. Before providing some biographical details, the Season 12 newcomer stated, "As the bosun, I'm the team's leader, so everything depends on me." Having grown up in Rio de Janeiro, he added, "I worked hard to achieve that position. I worked as a chef on a 27-meter boat for my first job. I had little money when I first started, but yachting altered my life in both financial terms and in terms of the adventures and trips I had." Additionally, Caio realized that his life and that of his Brazilian friends who are employed in professions like engineering, law, or medicine differed greatly in that they were not traveling the world. For someone who grew up in Rio, this is hardly a typical way of life. According to Caio's Below Deck biography, music is his favorite off-boat pastime and special talent outside of the yachting community. Caio added that he still likes to travel when he's not working, and that his current favorite place to visit is Southeast Asia. See why one of Caio's fellow yachties has already departed Below Deck Season 12 as he navigates more turbulence on board St. David.